it's Ina the Mood Reader, and welcome to my 2020 reading year in review. I know this is quite late already. We're almost at the end of January. I have watched a lot of these videos, and though my January was a little busy, I finally had the time to make all those charts and check out the numbers. I really had fun gathering this info, and I just want to share it with you guys. So yeah, for this video, I'll be sharing with you my year in review from Goodreads and also from the reading tracker that I use. So for 2020, I have read 188 books. I thought it was 187, but it turns out that in my reading tracker, I have placed a graphic novel I haven't included in my Goodreads. I don't know why I wasn't able to do so at the time, but yeah, so the total is actually 188 pages. In terms of the total number of pages read, here's where we have a little conflict, I guess, because in Goodreads, many Filipino books, especially the graphic novels, don't have pages with them, as well as like some indie released titles I have read in the past year. So for Goodreads, the total number of pages read is actually 51,488. But from my reading tracker, I have 54,448 books. So it's in that range, I guess, so we'll just settle with that. Anyway, I'm very happy with the number of books I have read last year. My main goal was really to reach 104 books, which is like a yearly goal I want to set for myself, to read 2 books a week. This year, in 2020, I was able to manage that and more because, again, I picked up some graphic novels, which usually are fairly short. And all the reading challenges I joined, readathons throughout the year, made my reading experience very happy. And for that, I'm very, very thankful. As all of you guys know, I started this booktube channel mid-2020 because of boredom, I guess, or maybe because of like being stuck at home in a pandemic. Made me want to talk to a camera, but yeah. All in all, 2020 has been a good year for me in terms of like reading, but let's not talk about real life. Okay, so before it goes darker, let's go to the other stats or like features in the Goodreads year in review. So the shortest book I have read for 2020 had 34 pages, and it's Ang Hari ng Commute. It's a Filipino graphic novel that basically shows a series of comics about stories people have on their commute, because the traffic is very heavy here in the Philippines, especially in the major cities. So it's really fun to see quirky stories. I love that, despite of it being very short. Now, on the other hand, the longest book I have read for 2020 is Every Other Weekend. I read that in January, which is like a very, very long time from now. I remember this book is about 2 teens that both have divorced parents, and their parents have them every other weekend, and they're in this apartment complex. They're both staying with each of their parents, and they develop this friendship. They recognize each other's pains and troubles. It's a very hard-hitting contemporary book. I recommend it to everyone. It's a good one. But yeah, for the average book length, I have 273 pages. I know that's a little lower than your like standard paperback, maybe again because of those graphic novels, and also I'm not the type to pick up chunky books, like big tomes, I usually just go to your standard 300-ish pages. So yeah, I think 273 is lower. So let's see how it goes with 2021. I'm not sure yet if I have like short books, novellas, or graphic novels ahead of me this year, so we'll see. Now, the most popular book in Goodreads, the most popular book I have read in terms of like users in Goodreads is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which was shelved 432,115 times. I know it has been like it was really popular, especially in the UK, and it was released in a similar time to Evelyn Hugo. It also has like the 7 and all that. That's why it has the half mark for US release. But this is a mystery thriller book, somewhat like a Groundhog Day experience, wherein you relive the same day over and over again, but the twist is that the person wakes up in a different body every time, and he has to solve the murder of Evelyn Hardcastle. And the premise of this book sounds really good. It didn't deliver much to me, like in my opinion. The pacing wasn't thrilling. It wasn't exciting because it gets repetitive at times. I listened to this via audiobook. By the way, the narrator did a good job, but I think it's really the material that gets draggy, and also the writing style of the author does not really appeal to my taste, especially with his like fat phobic and misogynistic comments like in the character. I don't know if it's like a way to separate the characters from each other, but I think the fat phobic comments in the narrator of the book is just not needed, not asked for, and not really important to the overall flow of the book. So yeah. Now, the least popular book in my 2020 shelf is In Tune by Yayat Soriano. It's been shelved by 25 people. That's really, really low. I think a small number of people know this book. I think it's self-published by the author. It's about Filipino young adults. It's a high school love, finding oneself, also poverty, and just, normal teenage problems and normal problems of the poor Filipino. And I hope more people pick up this book. I was part of a blog tour for this. So yeah, hoping that more people will discover this gem. Now, my average rating for 2020 is 4.1 stars, which is really high compared to other people's ratings. I think it's mainly because I only pick out books I'm sure I would like, so I tend to give out more high stars. And I guess it's because I have like about half of my reading is on audio, and I tend to be less critical when I read via audio, because I think it's the speed of it all that makes you less critical. You get a little separated from the book. It's just like hearing somebody else's story instead of like diving into the world when you actually read like a book. I don't know. So I guess this just based on the way I think about books I have read when I have to review them. I think I tend to be less critical to audiobooks, and that's why I have fairly higher ratings. I don't know. But yeah, let's see what would happen like in 2021. And we'll go back to this and see if I would have like a higher or lower average rating for the year. And lastly, the highest rated book in my shelves is Heartstopper Volume 1. It has 4.52 average on Goodreads, which is a very, very high considering how many reviewers like shower books with 1-star ratings. But yeah, I understand why many people would rate this high. I also rated it, I think, 5 stars. It's just a very soft and fluffy book. And this rating reminded me that I have to continue on with the series. It's really a precious one, and yeah, it's really cute. Heartstopper. It's a really cute graphic novel. Okay, now I want to share with you the pie charts I made based on the spreadsheet I have for my 2020 read books. First, we go to the star ratings I give. And if you read my reviews in Goodreads as well as the blog ynathemoodreader.com, you know I have this book rating breakdown that I follow, wherein I tell you my thoughts on the main character, the synopsis, character development, ending, pacing, etc., etc. Things that matter to me personally as a reader. And I get the average of that, and that would be my star rating for the book. So yeah, it has a little basis, but it's very, again, of course, subjective. It's from my own thoughts and opinion. But anyway, for 2020, I have rated 67 books 5 stars, 75 books 4 stars, 42 books 3 stars, 2 books with 2 stars, and 2 books with 1 star. So as you can see, again, I tend to be very forgiving with books. For me, it's really all about how the book made me feel. If it made me cry, if it made me feel giddy, if it delivered the thrill that it promises. I'm not really that greedy or selfish with giving 5 or 4 stars. And I think with the 3-star books I rate, those are books with potential or sounded interesting at first. Some books that I liked but wasn't like really the favorite, or I understand why people like the book. It's just that I felt like the book wasn't for me. The only reason that I would rate a book 2 or 1 star is if it has really offensive content, if themes discussed are really, I don't know, attacking a person, a place, a culture, or something like that. If there are lies, or if there is misrepresentation in the book, or probably a reason for me also to give very low ratings is the the writing style. If there are too many grammatical errors that you can even push through with a book, yeah. So as you can see, for the year I just didn't like 4 books, but we'll see in 2021 as I try to be like more critical of the books that I read. Maybe, I don't know. Now for the I also did like a study on the publication year of the books. So for 2 books published in 2020, I read 87 new releases for last year. I guess because I participated again in many blog tours for the year. And Scribd also gives you access to new audiobook releases, which is amazing. So that made me also pick up more new releases. For books published between 2016 to 2019, I picked up 84 books. And then for books published beyond 2015, I had 16 reads. I think that's just like a good one. But for 2021, I'm hoping to read more backlist titles in the last 5 years and beyond that, because I've missed a lot. As I have probably told you before, I was absent for like 2014 to 2018 in the bookish community because I was stuck in the fan fiction world. So I'm hoping to like catch up on releases in that era, just so you know, I can finally understand the references everybody's been doing. It's just FOMO. So yeah. Now for the format, I have read, like I mentioned earlier, and it turns out that it's correct. I read more audiobooks. I have read 85 audiobooks for 2020, 81 ebooks on my Kindle, and then I picked up only 22 physical books. For this year, I'm planning to read more of my physical books. I think it's really sad if like my collection here behind me remains untouched, so I'm hoping to like even it out for 2020, give more chances for my physical books as well as the ebooks I have on my shelf. But you know, again, it's I really don't blame past Ina for leaning towards audiobooks, because again, I'm quite busy with work and chores here at home, trying to be an adult, and audiobooks are still the best way to catch up on reading. And I really suggest you guys try out Scribd. There's a free trial on the description box. Again, it gives you access to newer releases, though of course unlimited access has its limitations. I still get to read an average of 10 audiobooks a month because of Scribd, so it's still a great deal. Now, in terms of the age group of the books that I read, it's like a fairly equal division. I read 90 adult books and 89 young adult books, but I noticed here that in the earlier part of the year, I had a distinction for new adult, and I read 5 books for that. That counts as adult as well. So I tend to be reading both young adult and adult books, which I guess it's nice. I read 4 middle grade books. I'm hoping to pick up more middle grade books this year. Maybe jump it to 10, I guess, just for some light and adventurous fantasy books and some contemporaries as well. I've been seeing a lot of great middle grade releases coming out this year, so I'm hoping to grab some of those books. Now, this one is a little bit longer. I took the genres. This result is a little funny, but I know you expect it from me already. Your local romance reader was able to read 101 romances in 2020. This is a mixture of contemporary, historical, and LGBT romance. So we have 101 out of 188. But what's new? I also picked up 37 mysteries and thrillers. I actually thought I read more than this number, but I guess 37 is also a good number to aspire for 2021. I have read contemporary, realistic books as well. The number is at 29. And then I read 11 fantasy books and 2 science fiction books. We'll try to make that at least 5 for 2021. I also took note of these 2 results. For non-fiction books, I was able to read 6, and for graphic novels, I was able to read 10. So I'm hoping to do the same thing for 2021, just at least to try to diversify the types of books that I read for the year. And lastly, the last thing that I checked out is the ethnicity of the authors that I read, because I wanted, last year in 2020, I really wanted to read more Asian books, and I was able to do so. I was able to read 62 books by Asian authors. I was able also to read 11 books by Black authors and 6 books by Latinx authors. And of course, like white authors still dominated the shelves. I read 108 books by them. We're trying to even it all out, but I'm happy with how I was able to read, to try to balance out my reading in terms of the ethnicity of the authors. I'll try to read books by other indigenous groups as well for 2020, and also books from other cultures. But yeah, here's hoping. By the way, out of the 62 Asian books, I was able to read 44 Filipino titles. Thanks to the Weekathon organized by Kate, as well as the Walang Tulugan Readathon organized by Polly. So if they plan on doing the same activities this year, I will be allotting some books from my Filipino authored shelf for that specific event. But for 2021, I'm hoping as also to read more Southeast Asian authored books, and try to branch out as well, aside from reading the Filipiniana, or like books by Filipino authors. So yeah, those are my statistics for 2020. I really had fun trying to look back on how I did last year and see how the bookish community has influenced me on the choices that I made, on the books that I picked. And yeah, it's a really nostalgic way to see how the year was, how my tastes have changed, and it'll be nice to look back on this video next year when I also make the 2021 version of this statistics video. So yeah, if you also created a similar 2020 year in review, please do let me know. Tag me in Instagram or in Twitter, or you can let me know some of your answers for these questions in the comment section. If you have video requests, please do let me know, and we'll try to do your we'll try to make those requests into a video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And see you on the next video. Bye!